Hi, guys, and welcome back to the Med Spa Growth and Profitability podcast. I am with Ian, and Ian, I knew I wanted to be on this show. I met him about a year ago in a mastermind, and I loved his testimonials. I loved what he was doing, and I knew that my audience needed to see him. So let me ask you, do you want to be the authority to your patients? Do you want to be remembered, to stand out, and to be the only choice? Your stories, specifically videos of your stories, are the best way. Ian Garlic has helped medical providers to stand out and become the experts using video storytelling for over 10 years. So welcome, Ian.
Thanks for having me, April. I'm excited to be here. Excited to talk to you.
Me too. So I got to witness firsthand the work that you do. You actually were creating some videos at an event that we were at, and really, you had a very unique perspective on how you did it. You know, I participated in a lot of video testimonials before. Usually it's just someone saying, hey, what did you think about this event? So we're going to get into exactly, what you do very shortly. But can you tell us a little bit about why you think video is so important, especially for med spas?
I mean, video... Okay, for services in general, but especially for like medical services, video allows someone to meet you ahead of time, first of all. For someone to take and spend that kind of money, trust you not only with their money, but their looks, their health, and their well-being, there's a big trust barrier. And you can say you have all this experience, but video allows people to see you, especially off, the name of our company is Authentic Web. Because if you do it authentically, they get to know you ahead of time. Now, that's the natural thing. The stories, people remember the stories. But I think video, most importantly, when someone sees you, they can read whether they like you or not, right?
Absolutely.
And the more they see you, the more they know, like, and trust you. And there's some science behind it, too. There's a thing called the mirror exposure effect. And we know with celebrities that when we see videos and we see people over and over again, we think they're our friends. There's science behind the fact that you can't resist that. Mm-hmm. It's not like it's purely science that someone's going to like you. And I get that all the time from our clients. Like, people walk in, they feel like they know me already. And so that allows you to spend less time selling. It makes you more of an authority. Also, you can address their biggest questions especially they didn't know that they had.
Exactly.
So, and I think that's super important because there's always these questions that people are never going to ask you. And that's a great way. And I think video is the absolute best way to do it. Not only from that conversion standpoint, I will try not to get too technical here, but also from the fact that now with Facebook, with LinkedIn, with Twitter, even though people are still using Twitter, and YouTube is the second most used search engine. It's the best place to be with video because you cut down your ad costs, you get better reach. They're all preferring video, so I don't see the only reason not to do video is that you don't know what to do next.
Yeah, and I totally get that, and especially in the aesthetic practice and the med spa community, going to their websites, they're very cold and they're very detail oriented. But I know, I had a few procedures done, and I really binge watched the videos that my plastic surgeon had. I really wanted, I went in there knowing all about everything that he offered. And I don't want to overwhelm people watching, I got to do a ton of videos. They could be very simple, but like you said, I already trusted going in there exactly, that he's the right person to choose. So can you, I guess, tell us a little bit about what type of videos they should have on their website?
Well, I say there's 8 types of videos, and you say, well, don't get overwhelmed by not making the videos, but I want people to step back and think, the stuff that if you do the videos right, you're saying the things that you probably say already to the people, but you're saying to them less, because you don't have to say it over and over again because someone's watched a video of you talking about it. So that's super important to understand, is that yes, it's going to take some time involvement up front. But if you have a system, which we're very systematized in the way we make videos, and I'll share some of those with you, but it's if you have a system, you can get the videos done really quickly, and the right videos done very quickly, and leverage them. I literally just got a call from a client about a video that we made 4 years ago now, I think, and they just got a $50,000 case from it.
Wow.
So literally just this morning. And that once they're out there, they're working for you. So that mindset's an important shift.
Yeah.
Now the types of videos.
I'm sorry, I'm going to interrupt you for a second there. And what's also important, I think, too, what I find with a lot of my clients is that they do get into the overwhelm thinking that they always have to be recording video, which is great if you can go live and everything. But we love to do something called batching, and where you can sit down, have someone like your team come in and record everything in one day. If you're doing your hair and makeup, or which you don't even need to do, but if you're doing that, it's done in one day and they're over with. So there's no reason to I got to do a video today and then put it off because you didn't feel like it.
Yeah, exactly. That's the way we work with most of our clients, because if you plan them out ahead of time, you get a ton of videos done in 2 hours of interviewing. Yeah. Because the video should at most be 3 minutes long, and a lot of the content should be reused. I think that's a big mistake people make too, is that the people realize that they don't realize that people don't, even if they watch your video, they're going to need to watch it again and again and again. I mean, we watch movies all the time, right? And you're like, oh, you notice something different. Yeah. The same thing. You can put that content in front of people over and over again. But back to the question of what types of content, the types of content that really are important, most people think of like a commercial. And that's actually probably, while it's important, it's not the most important. The 2 most important videos are your case stories and your About Us videos. Your patient stories. When I call them case stories, not case studies. And people always go to testimonials, and I push away from that word, because you end up with someone staring into the camera going, "This was great." And there's a lot of reasons I can go into of why that happens, but there's an inauthenticity with the testimonial. So that's a perfect thing to realize is those are 2 places you need to concentrate. Then I think the next one is your process. Because here's the thing that people don't realize. When we're experts, we have our process down. It's like boom, 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 boom. But most people don't know what's going to happen next, and they're afraid. And the more detailed it can be, it's like, okay, this is what will happen. Step 1, you're going to come in for your initial consultation. We're going to show you these pictures. You're going to choose from this. We're going to go over that, and then a week later, we're going to set the appointment, and being very detailed into it, because for a lot of people, that's their first time.
I love that. And usually that's not even in text on a website, but if it is, people are not even reading it. They're just scanning through. So I love that video, the process video.
Yeah, that's a super important one. And then your frequent asked questions. Those questions that you get all the time, be sending those out. If someone doesn't ask you that, that's in the back of their head. And you can make a list of them. And, they're simple. You can make them really well produced. Or you can use, a webcam just to, get them out and get them done. Because if someone calls you and is like, hey, I'm not sure, what's the difference between this and this, right? Okay, I'm going to make this video one time, because you were going to be on the phone with them. Yep. Send it to them. So, those are some of the big ones. Like I said, the case studies, blog post, process, overview, and then videos about your services, the individual services, how they work, what's involved in them. Yeah. And then the overview video, which is like your commercial, but that's, it's often not the most viewed video. The About Us video is About Us page is the second most used page on a website. And that's where people now, they know, like, and want to trust you. Yeah. We all click on the About Us page, but people, they just throw up a bio, right? Sorry.
And that's very interesting, because I actually never saw an About Us video until I joined a group that you referred me to. And I was checking out a lot of their About pages, and many of them had it, and I loved it. And it really made me connect more with the overall company when you hear, the team talk about why they love to work there and, what's so important.
So very crucial, cool. So crucial. Yeah. So, and these are the main videos, and there's definitely enough formats in them, but it's an opportunity, and people are like, well, it takes a lot of time, but I'm like, there's people with up at midnight that you're never going to talk to that get to see your face.
Yeah.
And if you get to see someone's face and see them talk and have them answer all of your questions, or you just go to a static website, who are you going to choose?
Absolutely. And, you know, we love, as the marketing agency, we love videos because we use them on Facebook. We take little snippets, we retarget, and we would love to bring them back to landing pages that have videos. So it's so important. And then emails with videos in there. It's definitely becoming the norm now. People do not want to see text. They don't want to read. They're too busy to read. So yeah. I love that.
And retargeting to case stories. So, I mean, I'm assuming your audience knows, but just so you know, retargeting is when someone comes to your website, then a cookie's established on their browser. That's technical, but you see it all the time with Amazon, where you go to shop at Amazon and you see that product everywhere. That's retargeting. So we had a client, one medical office that actually was and they're experts in Facebook ads. Their guy was an expert in Facebook ads, was running retargeting to content. And then he took one of the video case stories that we created for them, and they were doing like a 2-to-1 return on the retargeting. And as soon as they put that video in, $4,000 in ads yielded $80,000 in results.
That's amazing.
So
yeah.
Just that one switch in having a video instead of content.
Yeah, and it's great for retargeting because they already know a little bit about you. They've been to your website, they saw something, and now you're in the back of their mind, but now you're hitting them with, hey, this was my experience and this is why I chose them, type thing. Can you tell us a little bit about the case stories? Because you do that so well. So tell us a little bit how you guys do that.
Yeah, so I realized that when I first started doing this, I actually started doing case stories for myself when I was working for a large agency. And I was going around telling this technical story of websites, and this was in 2006. And people were still going, the internet, is that thing still around? And so I'd have to, instead of going, this is why you need SEO, and they're like, what's SEO? And website, and so instead I would have one of my clients' stories with me and show them that. And I realized as I was going through it, I'm like, it's your most important tool. And what I say is, because really what a referral is just a story from someone you know, like, and trust.
Yeah.
And there's a transfer of trust. And we all love referrals. Well, that's all it is a transfer of trust. And so what you have to have, though, is a story. And it has to be formatted as a story. There's a simple story format that's worked since the dawn of time. And it's the same story format you should want. They first have to connect with the individual that they're watching, so you have to tell who that person is. You have to explain their conflict, what's their problem, and then you have to explain the conclusion. And most of us just go straight to the conclusion. Oh, yeah. Dr. So-and-so, made me look great. Of course you're going to put that up there, but who are you? Are you like me? What was your problem? What didn't you feel good about yourself? What did you want to change? What were you scared of? And asking not only those questions, but very specific questions, triggers things in our mind and makes us watch it. So even if someone's not right now interested in your services, they're going to remember that story.
Yeah.
So that's a simple format, but it's one of those things that you could collect 20, 30 minutes and use it. Now and use it in different ways, and that's the big thing too, is to understand where you're going to be using the story.
Yeah.
Right? Because I haven't talked about the technicals at all, because this is where people need to start. I work with a lot of amazing marketers, and they call me up because I'm known for doing this, and they're like, I want you to shoot some case stories for me. And, I'm like, well, what do you want the case stories to do? And they're like, oh, that's a good question. So that's the first thing you should do, because, okay, if you're at a cocktail party and you're telling a story, that story is different than the story. It could be the same story, but you're going to tell it in a different way. So you might want to laugh out of it versus converting a patient, right? So understanding that, where it's going to go, and then just interviewing people and interviewing them for story, not for testimonial. I always tell people, don't ever ask for testimonial. Ask what's their story. And once you do that, then you just edit it down for where it's going to go in that story format, and then you have a nice 60, 90-second one. And we have various ways we do it. We can do it remotely, and put dynamic text on top of it, and it's an awesome product, the case stories. But these are your most important tool. This is where people should be spending all of their time.
Yeah, and most people, first, they don't even ask for any, and I don't want to use the word testimonial, but they don't ask for anything. And then if they do ask for something, it's usually just a written text, which usually you never get back. And then best case scenario, they send you a video, from their phone or something like that, and it's usually never what you want them to say. So the interview process is really amazing how you guys do that.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, the interview, it's definitely, there's a skill set. We have a list of questions, about 30 questions that we maneuver around. We don't ask all 30 questions. You still have to have a conversation. But it's crucial, get someone, tell their story, get them relaxed, because people aren't relaxed. But what happens when you ask someone for a testimonial is one of two things. The reason that they don't do it is either they forget to, or they get overwhelmed, because they're like, oh man, they did such a good job for me. But I don't know what to say, right? And then they get overwhelmed. And then if they do something, they're thinking a testimonial. Everyone thinks of a testimonial as, what can I do for you?
Yeah.
They want to talk about how great you are. And that's not a story either. So that interview process is crucial.
I love that. And that also, your prospective patient is going to say, wow, April was in the same spot I was, and she was feeling the same exact things, and now she has this incredible end result, or this improved her life by whatever. Then they could relate to that person a little bit more and know that your company or your med spa provided those results. So I love it.
Yeah. I mean, I'll just real quick story. I had another cosmetic patient or cosmetic client of ours call me up and tell me that almost exact same thing. Like, we had this one case come through, and she just thought she had no hope. And she's like, I watched that video, and I finally had hope that I could do this. So, and she changed her life. So it's going to be, the case story is going to yield another case story.
Absolutely. I want to just jump back to the 8 types of videos really quick, because we did mention FAQs, and I just wanted to touch on it in case people aren't really thinking about this. Yes, it could be a frequently asked question, or something that they're thinking that they don't, that they're going to forget to ask, or you're covering it there. But it's also a really great way to go over objections. So if there's a cost objection, or if you have to get, your partner involved, your husband, your wife involved in this, how to do that. So you can definitely solve a lot of those objections with videos. So I love that.
And one thing to remember is, like I said before, and I just want to get this true, even if you put this on a website, even if you put it in your Facebook campaigns, you still want to send them in emails, and you'll send them over and over and over again, because they might have watched them, they might forget.
Yeah.
Reuse them.
Yeah, and I think that's something a lot of people forget, that you don't use the videos just once. You can take little, 60-second snippets and put it on Instagram. You can, use the whole thing in your email marketing or on your website, or little pieces here and there, turn them into blog posts. Like, there's a lot of different options that they can do.
Exactly.
So tell me a little bit, how did you get into this? Was it just that you were going around and you needed the testimonials, or how did you get into the video part?
So I've always loved video and film. At one point, I thought that's what I want to do, but I love marketing too. And when I first started, I was big into websites, SEO, and then when Google bought YouTube, I'm like, this is going to change everything. So I could immediately see that instead of doing something like a commercial that had to be for everyone, we get very specific with the content that we deliver to a very specific person. And also, from my standpoint, I was going around talking and going to people's offices, and everyone thought that they were in competition with the other offices, right? I'm like, but everyone I went to had a different story.
Yeah. And
those stories never got told. But those stories, I'm like, why aren't you telling that story to every single person? And they all want to work with someone slightly different and do something slightly different, if they have the exact same service. And video was just always the best way. And then I was lucky enough, because my business partner, who's now my wife, at the time, she graduated with her master's in 3D design and animation from NYU, and then went to work for the big film studios, Miramax, Nickelodeon. Worked on some Disney stuff, and then we decided to start the company. It was just like a perfect match.
I love that.
We've been doing it since.
Very, very, very cool. If people were just starting out, they don't have a budget, even though you can't afford not to do this, but let's say they want to do their own video. What do you think the first couple they should start with? Do you think it is the About page, or?
Their patient stories.
Yeah.
Your client stories, your patient stories are the most powerful thing, because that's the place that you should start. And don't think that because I made a smartphone video course, like how to shoot these with your smartphone, because of that reason. Don't think that if you shoot one now, you're not going to be able to interview that person a week from now or 2 weeks from now. I literally was just in Cleveland, interviewed the same guy that I've interviewed for the past 4 years for one client.
Yeah.
Because in the stories evolve.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a little bit different, it's a little bit better, and we've done it. So don't think that you can't do that. But yeah, your patient stories would be number one. And then I would do your frequently asked questions, because it's a simple thing. It's a simple way to get around it.
Yeah.
Those would be the two ones I'd spend the most time on. The About Us video, it can be tricky, because it's one of those things that can be done the wrong way, and the overview video can be done wrong. But if you use a story format and interview your patients and do FAQs with a smartphone, you can get a lot done.
Love that. Can you talk us a little bit about your process? Like, let's say people loved this interview and they're going to go check you out. What is the step you're going to walk them through?
Sure. So our process is, we first get to know your business, what your goals are. We're very goal oriented, very business. I have a business background. I worked as a trader. I've worked in commercial real estate, and I just love the marketing aspect of it. Mm-hmm. So we're going to first get to know what your business goals are, who you are. Then we're going to learn what services you want to provide and who you want to provide them to, your avatar, flesh that out. And then what we do is we do a customer storyboard, your patient storyboard. Well, we'll actually learn about their journey. Not their journey through your services, but their personal mm-hmm. journey. Then we go through their personal journey and go, well, what would you tell them at each one of these points? And at each one of the points of their journey, we'd say, make a list of all those videos, or all the things that you tell them. Say, this is the videos, and then this is where it needs to be placed. Now we know what videos we're going to make, where they're going to go, and then we have a documentary-style interview video shoot, where we come into your office or you come to us, and we will interview you. We'll interview your patients, and it's an interview style, because most people are not TV stars. They're not actors. And it's a real simple process. I make people cry, but it's for good reasons.
Yeah. And I think that's important, because most people don't, the biggest complaint that we have is, one, they don't want to be seen on video. Like, they're afraid of what other people are going to say. And the second biggest thing is they don't know what to say. So the interview process makes it really seamless. Yeah.
And to the point of not wanting to be on video, people are going to see you at some point, right? And this is going to make them like you much more when they walk through the door, because at first they're going to have their guard up. Otherwise, they're going to, what's this person going to look like? What are they going to sound like? How are they going to act? Yeah. And they're scared. And there's going to be a lot less chance. It's going to take a lot longer to sell your services to them.
Absolutely. So, Ian, thank you so much. I really, guys, you need to go check out Ian and the Authentic Web team. I know that you have a link for everybody. Can you tell us what it is?
Sure. If you go to authenticweb.media/medspa, what we're going to have there for you is our perfect case story checklist, the storyboard map, and a video on how to use that storyboard map, and a few examples of some of the videos that we've created too. And and we'll probably put a few extra special bonuses up there and surprises up there too. So go check it out. They're amazing tools. I tell you, if you go through, every time someone goes through these processes, they're like, this is amazing. It's changed my perspective on everything. Absolutely.
And that's very generous of you to give it out. So definitely, guys, go check it out. And thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
April, thank you so much for having me on.
My pleasure. Are you ready to stop visualizing how amazing your med spa could be and actually start living it? Now, I'm not talking in the far future or in a couple years from now. I'm talking about right now in the present. So are you really ready? I'm April Iannazzone. My team and I focus on helping med spas rapidly scale their business. So here's your 7 to 8 figure answer. Set up a free $1 million marketing call with one of my growth strategists today. There is zero obligation, no strings attached to this call. In fact, we deliver so much value during this call, you'll walk away knowing exactly what your next best business move should be. So click the button now and book in a time that works best for you. We're so excited and cannot wait to see the transformation of your med spa.